Hello, Deanna. I want to thank you for coming back to our session this week. And I wanted to touch base on what has been happening since our last visit regarding your social anxiety.
Well, I still tense up. It's helped a little bit talking about it. And pretty much what's been going on.
Okay. Well, you mentioned last time that you had taken a quiz
Yes.
about anxiety, and can you tell me more about that?
Well, I took a quiz, and afterwards, my results showed that I did have it. And I went through every question because it had feedback on every question, and like it would tell you like on a range scale 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, that like how normal it was and like how unnormal it was.
So you were able to get some feedback. How did that make you feel to?
It made me feel a lot better just knowing that I have like that, like what triggers it and what doesn't.
So kind of like a sense of empowerment since you now have some knowledge over what's going on. Well, that's definitely some progress that you've made since last visit. Trying to find out a little bit more about yourself and these feelings attached to it. So I see you brought your list of things that had happened, your journaling. So let's go through and talk about a few of these things if that's okay with you. It looks like you had some anxiety over singing in front of people.
Yes, it makes my stomach tighten.
So what situation were you in that you might have been singing in front of
My
people?
mom wanted me to sing in front of people.
Was this just a group of strangers or people that you may know?
Well, sometimes it's people that I know, and sometimes it's people that I don't know who my mom knows.
Okay. And you experience anxiety in both situations, whether you know them or not? Okay. So explain a little bit about what you were experiencing when this.
My stomach tightened, and like I shook, and like my voice didn't sound the best because I was scared, and I thought I would mess up lyrics or my voice would crack.
Well, what if your voice did crack or you did miss a lyric?
I'd be embarrassed, and I'd want to hide.
What does that mean to you if you mess up?
That I didn't do right.
But do you understand that not everyone is perfect? And even superstars make mistakes? Do you feel like it's okay for you to make a mistake?
Because if I make a mistake on myself, then people will be upset.
Well, I don't know how many people would be upset if you messed up a song lyric. You know. So, what else has been happening? It looks like you've got school written down here. What has happened at school?
Our 4 drills: fire, lockdown, earthquake, and tornado.
Mhm.
The two that I listed first are the scariest for me because lockdown, if somebody really wanted to get in, they could break the window and unlock the door and go in. They could see our shadows. During one of the drills, I couldn't go to my classroom, and I had to go into another classroom, and the girl was about to lock the door, so I almost got locked out.
And this was during a drill? Okay. So I'd say that was. How did you feel when that almost happened?
I didn't like it.
I'd say that was pretty scary.
And um, during fire, one of the drills, we weren't fast enough to line up in a single file line. But in real life, if we were to have a fire drill, we would all be like running out of the building and we wouldn't care. But we got yelled at because we weren't quiet enough and we weren't in the line.
So it sounds like that's kind of frustrating. Because in reality, it would be nothing like it was in the drill. What about camp? It looks like you've been trying some social interaction. So you've gone to camp now for a whole week. And how's that been for you?
It's fun.
And on the very first day of camp, was it okay, or were you feeling?
I was kind of nervous because there's people from my school that are there.
So how did you feel about that? Just nervous? What about the stomach? The feeling in your stomach? No?
It wasn't as bad.
Okay. So that's good because it's a social environment and it takes a lot of strength for someone with anxiety issues to put themselves out there. So I just want to say that that's very, very good of you to be able to put all that aside and venture out. It looks like you also have some instances that cause you anxiety regarding eating in public. Tell me about that.
I don't like eating in public because I don't like the feeling of other people staring at me.
And it's just in public? Or where? Where
Like
else?
if I'm at like family member's house that I really don't visit often, I don't like that.
You feel like they're staring at you, or do you feel like they're judging you?
Like if I go to make my plate and I like get too much, I don't like that. Or if I get too little.
Well, what does that mean to you if you get too little?
That they might think that something's going on.
Such as?
Like I'm not eating as much because like I don't know, like just feel like they judge me for not eating as much.
What do you think they're thinking? What do you think their
If
thoughts?
I eat too much, then I'm fat. But if I eat too little, that I'm not eating enough, and I'm hurting myself.
So you think that they may worry that you're harming yourself, or you're eating too much? Okay. Well, what other things do you think that they might think if you're not putting much on your plate?
Might think I'm weird
Why would they think that you're weird?
because I'm not eating as much as they are.
And what does it mean to you if others think that you are weird?
That I don't fit their like circumstances.
And so it sounds like across these themes, like school, camp. Well, camp is the exception because we're doing good in that realm, but it seems like just where you feel like you maybe don't fit in. Does that sound right?
I don't know.
With the anxiety? You know,
But I fit in with certain people.
with certain people. You just feel awkward in other social gatherings. Like, give me some examples of where you feel out of
If-
place.
We go to like a mall. I don't like that because there's like other people. If we go to my Uncle Tommy's during the 4th of July, I don't like that because I don't really see them often, and just I don't feel comfortable there. Mama Shelby's, I don't feel comfortable there because we don't go there often.
And then what are some places you do feel comfortable?
My house, my aunt Monk's, my nanny's.
So it's just a different environment based on your interaction with the person? Okay. So what about the bathing suit?
I don't like wearing bathing suits out in public. I like going to my aunt's and just swimming there.
Because you know those people and you're more comfortable. That makes sense. It looks like you wrote fires. Tell me more about fires.
I'm scared that I'll lose a lot of things that I like in fire. or that if I'm in a fire and I'm in my sleep, that I won't get out.
Have you had any experience with fires in the past?
My aunt and my grandma have had fires in their house when they weren't home. And me and my mom actually saw my grandma's house on fire.
And how did you feel seeing that?
Felt sick. I didn't like it.
A lot of internal feelings and probably thoughts. Do you remember what you were thinking when that happened?
How did it start?
I would imagine that was pretty scary. And so that seems to be a fear of yours. And then back to the fire drill, almost getting yelled at because you weren't in single file. Although that's unrealistic, as you said. Because in a true emergency, you would be trying to get out. So what valuables are you concerned about losing?
A blanket that I got on my first birthday. It was actually from a memo book. My papa gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then a stuffed pig that I have.
Do you think there are any things that you could do with those items to protect them or preserve them now, since this seems to be a fear?
Put them in a safe place.
Okay. What kind of safe place?
Something that's fireproof.
That sounds like a great option. Do you have that ability?
Not at my house, but at my grandma's house.
Do you think she will store those things for you?
Probably.
And what would that mean to you if she did that for you?
I still wouldn't like it because it's not in my house.
But it would give you any peace of mind knowing that it's...
Yes.
Sorry. Bless me. Let's see what else here. Okay, we mentioned the people looking at you. But back to the mall incident. Or, not incident, but the scenario. And you said, like, even being inside of a mall, like, you worry people are looking at you? Like, you don't... Do you stare at certain people at the mall? Or notice just one certain person out of, several that are there?
People with a bunch of bags.
Okay. Like a lot of shopping bags?
They stick out more.
Do you typically have a lot of shopping bags?
I probably have like 3 or 4.
Okay. So I'm just trying to find out, do you think that's why they're staring at you? Because you have several shopping bags?
No.
No.
Probably because I have less than them.
So you think people go to the mall concerned about what other people are buying?
They probably go there to try to find like the newest trend.
Are there any other issues that you would like to talk about?
No, I really know.
What about, have you tried any relaxation techniques? I remember you telling me last visit that there was a video that you watched online about a child that has a social phobia, and you had mentioned that she was on medication, but you didn't feel like you were severe enough to be on medication. Do you still feel like this is something you can gain control of? Are there any steps that you've been taking in that direction?
I haven't lit a candle in a while, but I used to do that because the smell of candles, I like that. I watch a lot of videos just to like keep my mind like sort of off of things. I listen to music a lot. Play with my fingers a lot in school.
And so, does the candle and the music, does that create a better feeling? Well, how does that make you feel?
I like whenever I smell candles because like certain smells like make me like less worried,
Mm-hmm.
and then certain songs make me less worried.
Well, that's understandable. What about like some relaxation techniques when you are in these environments which make you anxious, such as like if you are in the mall and you're worried that someone's looking at you.
I play with my fingers. Or I try to hide my face as much as possible. Or I try to hide myself as much as possible.
Do you think you could talk to yourself and kind
Yeah,
of like
look weird.
do some deep breathing or anything like that to kind of push that worry away? No. You don't think it would help?
No.
What do you think about like setting aside a certain amount of time in the day for you to worry about things?
But then I forget my worries throughout the day.
Sounds like a plan to me, right? How do you feel about that? Does it sound like something you'd be willing to try?
Probably.
Now it's going to take some work because it's not easy. They're not just going to go away. Like I said, these are rational fears, especially with the fire. You've had experience with that. And so it's understandable. And it's great that you have the insight and you know and understand how you're feeling so that you can understand yourself for one, and then you can help kind of counteract these thoughts that you're having and have more control over it, like you said, like you want. Is that still a goal for you? Okay, so what do you think about trying like some deep breathing relaxation right now? Would you be okay with that? Okay, so just put your feet on the floor and sit back in your chair. Okay, and just, I'll count to 5 slowly, and just slowly take a deep breath in. And then I will count to 5 again, and then just slowly let it out, okay? Alright, a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I notice that you're laughing because I say it is uncomfortable because I know you're probably not experiencing that anxiety, or are you?
No.
You told me last time you felt more comfortable here, which is it's good to know. But
I don't like putting my feet on the ground.
so how did you feel trying to take that deep breath in and let it
It
out?
was hard because I was laughing.
Well, it's an element of control. And when you can accomplish that, hopefully you can carry that over into situations where your stomach might knot up, or you're worried that you might forget those lyrics and maybe recollect yourself. Does that kind of make sense? So you think you could try that for next time? Okay. And let's see what else. You've already increased your social interaction with the camp. I'd like you to continue with that as well. It seems to be going well for you. And I know you mentioned before that you used to do more social interaction, like social groups, like Girl Scouts, but that has changed.
And gymnastics.
Right. And then you mentioned a lot of this is like because of a transition to middle school, you think?
I don't really know. I don't know if it's just lost interest in it or I'm getting older and I think, oh, that's for littler kids.
Even if it is for littler kids, can it still be for older kids as well?
No,
No? Why is that?
because it just looks weird if older kids do it. Like selling little lemonade. Like you would normally expect like a 5, 6, 7-year-old. It looks weird if a 11, 10, 13-year-old is doing it.
So
But mowing a yard.
is this what you mean by like the cookies? Is okay from the Girl Scouts? Okay. I just want to make sure I understand.
Like they normally buy from the littler kid because the little kids are cute. Older kids with acne don't look cute and they wouldn't want to buy it.
On the flip side of that, can you tell me a few things that you, as older Girl Scouts, could do that the younger Girl Scouts cannot?
You probably behave better.
What about socially? Skills that you may have that
We could go to fire.
a 7-year-old wouldn't. I would say communication is a big factor. Because if I recall, I remember you saying that in your previous Girl Scout group you felt positive about it because you all would go out in the community and do things. I'm going to do a flower bed. Is that right? You guys organized some cleanup in a flower bed in the community. And that must have made you feel good.
I don't like gardening.
No, but did you feel good about doing it for the
Yeah.
community? And something that you could say that you did accomplish, because you had some sense of pride when you talked about it before, and I picked up on that. So maybe is there something that you could do on your own now that you're older that would give you kind of that sense of pride?
I'm gonna go to the nursing home and help them.
Well, that sounds like a great idea. Do you know if you could envision yourself there at the nursing home, what would you be doing?
Probably like make them something and give it to them. Because that's what we were gonna do with school and we never got to.
And you know what else the nursing home's like? The people at the nursing homes. Music. And you were saying about your singing. Maybe that could be a goal for next time. Would you consider going to sing in front of the elderly in the nursing home? Maybe we can talk to your mom about arranging that. And what about if you get nervous and have those thoughts?
I'm gonna run.
Well, that's for the breathing. Focus on trying to breathe. Have you had some positive interactions with singing?
I've taken singing lessons and the coach said that I was a natural.
Really? And how'd that make you feel? It's pretty awesome. What about anywhere else you go that you sing?
Sing in the car.
Do you?
Only songs I know.
Which is how many songs on the
A
radio?
lot.
Okay.
80%. Maybe
Most
95.
children do. Yes. Yes. What about? I did hear. I thought your mom had mentioned that she did get you out of your comfort zone a little when you were in a chiropractic office.
Yeah.
She said that you kind of let your guard down and you would sing, and it was like you didn't have a care in the world. Who was watching?
Not that I know of. I don't think anybody was watching. I just think they were listening.
But usually when you hear something, don't you look?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention. I was focusing on the song lyrics on the radio.
What happened? Anyone compliment?
Yeah, a lot of the doctors.
Were there other people in there besides the doctors?
Yes, they're patient.
Oh, there were patients there as well? And what happened?
While my mom was getting adjusted on the bed, I was sitting down in one of the chairs and there was a girl and then one of the dolls. Her mom was across from her waiting to get adjusted. And I think they asked you something, or Dr. Mike said something about me singing, and the girl wanted to hear me. And I kind of got a little nervous, and then I eased up because I was like, oh, she can't be that bad. And I sung.
Well, that's really good. You're taking steps to get over some of these fears that you have. That takes a lot of courage to sing in front of a stranger, especially on demand. So that's a really good job.
But we also talked about hair, because she had shaved half of her head like I did before.
So you've reached some kind of commonality with them. So they didn't seem so much like strangers. And maybe that could be something else that we could work on too. When you are in an environment where you're not sure about some of these people, maybe just a phrase that some people use, like how's the weather today? Or how are you enjoying the weather today? And things like that to kind of give you something to talk to these people about. Because that might be a little bit of your nervousness. Is it just because you go and you think these people are staring and you're not interacting, right? You're not talking. So maybe we could start working on some of that
other things.
Okay, so goals for next time for sure. Keep up with camp. And if you feel like singing at camp, sing at camp.
I do that.
And we will talk to your mother about trying to get you in the nursing home, since that seems to be something you think will give you some positive feedback in your life and make you feel good. And hopefully that will help with some of the anxiety as well. Does that sound good to you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for coming in today, and I'll see you again next week.